Welcome to Celebrating Everyday People. We were previously known as Malcolm and We, and we're back to recognize those amazing people doing amazing work out there. My co host is Malcolm Berman, and my name is Yana Larson. You can find us on malcolmpresents.com and on Malcolm's YouTube. We also have a Facebook page, and we're on Buzzsprout and all major directories and beyond as we enhance our online presence. Today, our guest is Dottie Fromal. Dottie is a dedicated community worker with experience in US, Europe, Africa, and Asia. She has supported refugees in London, organized community programs in Ohio, and worked with Catholic worker communities internationally. Dottie has also taught in China, assisted children's programs in Tanzania, and held roles in finance and insurance in San Francisco and New York City. Originally from Pennsylvania, she is passionate about service, art, and making a positive impact. I first found out about Dottie when I was working with the Poor People's Campaign in Northeast Ohio as a community coordinator. I was impressed then with her ability to take leadership and organize events. Since then, I have followed her on her travels to London and Amsterdam and now to Iowa, where she is now. Welcome, Dottie. Thanks for being here.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
And you say you're in Iowa. I forget where exactly, near Davenport, maybe? Yeah.
No, on the other side of the state. I'm in Malloy, which is in the southern part, not far from Missouri. I'm at the Catholic Worker Farm, Strangers and Guests.
Yeah. And so you don't have a place of your own. You go from place to place all over the world. And I have to say, you appear to be a fabulous cook.
Thank you. It's one of the things that took me to London. I was living in Ohio, and I saw a job advertisement that came through that said, "Can you chop onions and peel potatoes?" And I was like, man, I can do that one. And let me go to London.
Mhm.
And it was
Listen,
good. I got to cook every night for
well, and
people.
it's fabulous. You just did so much, and it looks like interesting places that you were working on cleaning up gardens and such, and you also got to travel around and see the sights. And I noticed in a recent Facebook post you had a whole bunch of horseradish, and
Oh
I
yeah.
I remember there was one person who commented, "I didn't know that's what it looked like." They're so
Uh-huh.
used to seeing it in jars, but it was just a big pile. Did you get through that okay?
Big giant pile. Yeah, I helped dig it up and I thought we dug it all up. But then as we were peeling it, Brian, he and his wife Betsy run this Catholic worker farm. He was like, "Oh, let me just go get another piece from the big plot." And I was like, "What?" So yeah, we made a gallon and a quart of horseradish in one day. So help dig it up, help clean it, peel it, chop it, mix it, jar it, did the whole thing. A whole new skill for me.
Well, if you
It
send me
sounds
some
fun.
horseradish, I can put it on my. I don't know if yeah, I'm Jewish. It's gefilte fish,
Uh-huh.
which is,
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
and that's
I'll send
great
you
for
guys
that.
some horseradish.
Do they
Anyway,
have
Homemade.
Jewish? Wait, Malcolm, do they have Jewish worker farms? Maybe you could
excuse
start to
me. Do they have Jewish what?
worker
Worker
farm,
farm, like Catholic
I.
worker farms.
worker farms.
But
Well, the cool thing about Catholic worker farms and Catholic workers all around the world, you don't have to be Catholic. Everyone's
Oh,
welcome. So,
okay, well,
yeah, well,
that's a good idea.
that's the thing. You don't have to be Jewish to like gefilte. There was there was a great ad. There was a great ad in the subways in New York in the this is going into the 70s and 80s. A big thing with it with a Chinese person eating Levi's rye bread, and it says you
mm-hmm.
don't have to be Jewish to like Levi's. But anyway, in your own words, what are you trying to do? It sounds like you are going around the world trying to make the world a better place. Tell
Yeah,
us in
that's
your own
what we want
words.
to do. We want to make the world a better place. In fact, I just made a wood or a lino cut. Can you see that?
Yeah.
What
Oh,
we
wait,
want
there
to
you
do
go, right
Well, let's see
there.
if I can
is
get a little
change the
closer.
world. by Dorothy Day. And Dorothy Day was one of the
Yeah.
founders of the Catholic worker movement with Peter Morin. And it's that simple. It's like living your life by acting out the works of mercy in a daily practice. So it's really that simple. I never intended to kind of just be wandering like this at this point in my life, but that's where it's led me. And I feel like each step along the way, I've been meant to be there for some reason or another. I know I've grown so much and learned so much, and I just am hoping, I guess, praying that it's leading me to where I'm meant to be. I'm just taking the long, scenic route. So,
Well, I love following your stories. Do you write like for Substack or anything like that too?
well, I've been trying. Actually, I just wrote an article for The Sower, which is the newsletter of this particular Catholic worker. It was supposed to be like a one-page thing, and as I started writing, the first time I've done it in months and months, I had 25 pages, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have so much to share about my travels and my adventures and the people I've met along the way. And so yeah, I think there's some writing in my future. I had to condense that 25 pages down to a couple paragraphs.
Well, I had to
But
condense
there's a lot.
your bio too, and
Yeah,
um,
that could be a book because I know a lot of people
yeah.
they're not stuck, but they're in one place for their entire lives. I
Mhm.
forgot what it was. I think it was like 80 or 70, 80% of the people never move 50 miles from where they were born.
Well,
Yeah.
I think that's true. I living in Ohio now, and I still consider myself a Colorado girl, a Colorado mountain girl. That's where I grew
Oh.
up, and I was born in Connecticut because my dad was in the Coast Guard, and wherever we lived, I had mentioned to you, I lived in Marion, Iowa for 7 years, and then we moved to Colorado when, because my parents are natives, and so then I was in Boulder. And the only place that we went after moving to Boulder, which was how it was until I met my boyfriend who became my husband, who is now my ex-spouse. The only place I'd been and all that time was Nebraska, to where my grandma lived in Fremont. And so
Mhm.
when I was moving to Ohio, I thought, well, I've lived in Iowa and I've been to Nebraska, so Ohio will be the same. And it's not, really. And people
Mhm.
think of Ohio as being the Midwest, but I'm 10 hours from New York City. I don't call that Midwest. I call that kind of like Mid-East. But
Right.
what I was starting to go with is that a lot of people I met have never been further west than Ohio. And I've been all over the country, in every state except Florida. Everyone's been to
Wow. Oh, most people have been to Florida.
yeah, or Alaska, and I have been to Europe. But where I was going also with this is like, how different did you find it living in London? Because you were there for a while and you've been.
Yeah. I Gosh, there were some things that were every day we found little differences, and just the way we talk and different meanings to simple words sometimes. But I have to say, from the first day I arrived at the Catholic Worker, the London Catholic Worker, I felt like I found my family. I felt like it was a home, and I felt welcomed and living there with the refugees. I think we all connected with one another. We were all kind of drifting in the world, and we found a safe space together, and we lived in community. And that was my first time living in a Catholic worker community, like an intentional community. And it was, I wish I had spent my whole life doing that. It was really
What did you
amazing and
eat?
Well,
wonderful.
you got the rest of your life
Yeah,
living.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah. And I intended to stay longer than I did, but we did a prayer action in Germany. We prayed outside of a American military base in Germany, and I learned that you're not allowed to pray in public in Germany. You can pray as one person, but if you're two people together praying in public, it's considered a protest, and you need a permit. Even though
Interesting.
nobody saw us except the military guards. It was a remote area. No one saw us. The guards called the police. Um, I wasn't arrested, but I was detained. They took my passport. When I tried to come back to England, I was flagged as no right to remain, and I had to leave. So it was everything got disrupted. And then in Europe, Americans are only allowed to stay 90 days without a visa. So I traveled a little bit and spent time visiting different Catholic workers in Belgium and the Netherlands. And
This was recently, right? Within the last
yeah,
year.
it was
Yeah.
recent, very
So
recent. Yeah. And
how did you find the atmosphere in Europe of being an American?
well, Well, except for immigration and customs officials when I'm crossing borders, not liking my American passport, and pointing their finger at me saying, "This is what you do to us in your country." And I'm like, "Not me. I welcome everybody." But the people I met outside of border crossing were wonderful and welcoming. But I know I'm in a kind of a bubble, this Catholic worker world and their friends. We share similar values
Well,
and
one of my favorite places to visit is London, the state, because normally people think that if you're English, they're very reserved and they really don't speak that much. But if you make friends with someone who's English,
Mhm.
you say good morning to them, and it opens up the whole thing. Oh, good morning, how are and they start
Mhm.
talking. And the hard
Yeah.
thing to do is get them to stop talking.
Yeah, especially after a pint or two in a
Right.
pub. Yeah.
And one of my favorite quotes is from Winston Churchill. And he said, the English and the Americans are separated by a common language.
Uh,
Yeah,
that
they're
we
wonderful.
have wrecked.
Yeah, well, no, we speak
Yeah.
English, they speak English, but it needs a translator sometimes.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
at our table, our breakfast table in the morning in London, we had a young man, just 22 years old, brilliant, and the new force behind the Catholic worker in London. But he's from Scotland, and he has the driest sense of humor, and he could just look at me with a straight face and tell me a complete lie, and I would just buy it because he said it with a strong confident Scottish accent, and it took me a while to figure out like when he was joking and when he wasn't. And we had people from Portugal, and we had people from Australia, and then the immigrants that were with us from Belarus, from Uganda, from Somalia, from Sudan, from all over the world, Algeria. And so we all had this kind of broken English that we were all using together to make things work.
To,
So,
to get specific, what do you do as a Catholic worker, as the
huh.
organization? What are you trying to do in the communities?
Well, there's no like rule book for Catholic workers. Most of the Catholic worker houses of hospitality are Christian organizations, um, and mm, I guess. Like you don't have to sign up. There's no like sign up or criteria. Nothing. Everyone can do their own thing. And so
Right.
what we were doing in London was community resistance and the acts of mercy as part of our daily struggles. So resistance against any kind of injustice, whether it's environmental causes or nuclear weapons or what is happening in Palestine. Like we would just support other organizations and go out. We would pray, but also about community building. I mean, our opening our doors to our community as a space for organizing, opening our doors to undocumented men who are trying to seek asylum in the country and offering them a warm, safe place to be while they figure out their legal pathway. Um, yeah, so some houses of hospitality serve domestic people and not refugees, and some have open doors completely. Anyone that comes to their door is welcomed in. Some have very specific goals, so there's no real answer to like what is a Catholic worker.
Yeah.
Like you could
Do
really get in
you,
any
do
direction.
do you enter religion in any way to or preach
Uh,
religion, or is there anyone there
well,
that are
every
priests
house
or?
is different. We did not preach religion. We didn't require anyone to participate in prayers or anything. We require people, well, require. We ask that people be respectful, I guess. But people did not have to witness prayers or participate in prayers. But as a community, as our Christian community, the volunteers at the Catholic Worker did participate in daily prayers. We had morning prayers and evening prayers, and would attend prayer vigils and things like that. But it wasn't a requirement. And some people, some Catholic workers are atheists. Some are diehard, lifelong Catholics. Some are Methodists. Some are Quakers. Like all anyone could be a Catholic
Yeah.
worker.
But
Were
it's
Yeah.
there any
interesting that now that you're in the US, good old US, this I think
Mhm.
is probably the country that needs you the most.
Well,
It's,
I'm happy to be here. Everywhere I go, I feel like I've been here in the Malloy Catholic Worker, but I spent a week at the Ames Catholic Worker. They have mustard seed community farm there, and they were doing a craft week and working in their big garden. They have a CSA, and so I got to work in the garden and help with the harvest a couple times, and also learn about weaving and basket weaving and printmaking, all of these cool things that I never would have had the time to pursue if I had a regular 9 to 5 job.
I
right.
love those pictures too. So how long can you stay since you're American? How long can you stay at the where you are at in Iowa? As long
Oh,
as you want?
oh, well, I mean, I guess Betsy and that would be up to Betsy and Brian, who
Oh,
they have had guests who stayed for years. They have guests who stay for a few days and guests who stay for a few months. I have been here for a month and I will be moving on to Chicago next week. I'm going to join the St. Francis House, the Chicago Catholic Worker, for a little bit and see what life is like in Chicago. So look for some new pictures and
watch out for the National Guard, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
So let's hope I don't get arrested in Chicago.
yeah,
No, that's right.
we're gonna make you a reporter on location
hmm
Yeah. Can we do
Yeah.
that?
because Chicago is
Oh,
becoming one of the hotbeds of political activity.
Yeah. I'm feeling called to be there right now. So I'm excited to get there.
yeah, that is one thing we have another person who travels around. She doesn't do the same kind of work that you do, but she's feels called to go to different places, and she's going to be one of our traveling reporters too. So that would
Cool.
be so great to have somebody else, especially someone who likes to write.
hmm
And you have such you do such a good job of well, I enjoy it, seeing what you're doing wherever
hmm
you go. So it's really fascinating. I don't know what's the general age kind of group of people who are part of
Yana,
Oh.
Yana, you're not too old. You can
I'm not.
participate.
No, you're not. No, and there is no like there's no restriction. Anyone can be a Catholic worker. So they have Catholic worker gatherings. They had one in Europe when I was really lucky to go to the Euro gathering where all the Catholic workers come. And when I arrived back into the US, it was right before the Midwest gathering, and they had all the Midwest Catholic workers come together. And there's babies, there's families raising their children in Catholic worker communities, and there's people who are ready to retire, people who maybe should have retired already. But the couple that I'm staying with now, Betsy and Brian, gosh, I've been so inspired by them. They have been Brian's 50th year anniversary of being a Catholic worker is coming up in November. He knew Dorothy Day back in the day, and his wife, Betsy, she also knew Dorothy Day, and she lived at one of the original Catholic worker farms in New York. And Brian lived in New York City House, and they have firsthand account stories of what the early days of the Catholic worker were like,
Well,
and all of the different
Dottie, excuse
people.
me for breaking in, but our time is up. Would you
Ah,
believe it? We've had
I could
20
listen
minutes.
for hours.
Is there any look, email or something that people can contact you or contact the Catholic workers to find out more about them to
Oh,
see if they
yeah.
can volunteer?
So there is a website, a US-based website that has all of, well, not all of the locations, but most of the locations in the world listed on it. It's called catholicworker.org. Really simple, and you can
CatholicWorkers.org.
search by location.
And
And uh, if you want your Catholic worker organization to be listed on that webpage, they will list it. But some Catholic workers are completely independent. There's more than are listed on that page, is what I'm trying to say.
yeah. By the way,
Yeah.
I think you also met a soulmate in this conversation, and it's
Okay.
Yana.
Oh, you're going to join the Catholic worker now?
Well, no, I don't think so, but I would like
But
to
you ne
start.
I never know what she's going to do, so she might. Don't give up.
Well,
Don't give up
Start
on her.
one in your own home?
there you go. I have been dedicated to trying to make the world a better place. And I was working with an organization, and my mom was 91 when she asked me, "So now what is it you do, dear?" And
Mhm.
she died a little bit after that, but and I said, "Well, we're trying to save the world." And she goes, "Well, you're not doing a very good job." It was funny and sadly true at the same time. I
And
mean,
on that note, Yana, we have to wind up.
well, okay, I will. All
And
right,
she,
so I will make sure to add information about how to find about information, and remember to like, share, and follow us. You can leave us a message at malcolmpresents.com if you have questions or comments. Goodbye from Malcolm and me and Dottie on celebrating everyday people.
Thank
bye.
you. Bye.
Thanks again, Dottie.
Oh, you're welcome. Bye-bye. Nice to
Bye.
meet you, Malcolm. Bye,
Same here.
Hannah.